Bro, stop what you are doing right now, because what just went down in Florida last night is genuinely one of the craziest things to happen in hip-hop in a long time. We are talking about a shooting outside one of the most famous casinos in the country, a rapper hospitalized, another rapper in handcuffs, and Cardi B, the woman who has been through more with this man than anyone, now having to hear the news that her ex-husband, the father of her kids, just got shot. This story has got everything. Beef, money, a casino, gunshots in the valet lane, and a woman who has every reason to walk away but still can't. Stay locked in, because by the end of this video, you are going to understand exactly why this situation is way deeper than the headlines are letting on. Alright, so let's rewind and set the scene properly. It's Monday evening, April the 6th. The sun's going down in Hollywood, Florida, and the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino is doing what it always does. Full energy, valet lanes stacked, people moving in and out. This is not some back alley spot. This is one of the most recognizable entertainment venues in the whole of South Florida, right outside Miami. The kind of place you go when you want to be seen. And Offset, Kiari Kendrell Cephas, former Migos, one of the most recognizable faces in hip-hop, he's there. Just after 7 p.m., things kick off. A physical fight breaks out right there in the valet area. Not inside, not hidden somewhere, right outside, where cameras are everywhere and people are watching. And within minutes of that fight, shots are fired. Offset goes down. He gets taken to Memorial Regional Hospital with what police are calling a non-life-threatening injury. But let's be real, getting shot is getting shot. That is not a small thing. Police roll up, they contain the scene fast, and they detain 2 people on the spot. And one of those 2 people, Lil Tjay, Tion Jaden Merritt, 24 years old, out of the South Bronx, New York. He gets booked into Broward County Jail on a charge of disorderly conduct, which is a misdemeanor. And that's where everything starts getting complicated.
So Offset got pew-pewed. And at first people was on here talking about Lil Tjay had something to do with it after their scuffle. Come to find out, well, according to the reports, because they keep coming out, that he might not have had nothing to do with the whole pew-pewing to begin with. But what's crazy is a lot of people talking about, you know, Offset got children and stuff like that. Okay, when you have kids and you have family, you got to live a certain way. You can't be out here, you know, moving and operating in a certain manner. And also, like, wasn't he just a month ago or a few months ago basically saying that he can end Stephon Diggs' career? Wasn't he saying that? Now look at him. The type of energy that you put out into the world will come back to you. All right? So sometimes, you know, just keep your mouth shut and stop living in a certain manner. Because all of this, to be honest, could have been avoided. But when you live a certain way, you invite a certain energy to you. Point blank, period.
Because here's the thing, this did not come out of nowhere. Offset and Lil Tjay have history. These two actually worked together. They had a track called Run It Up, but somewhere along the line, that energy turned. And earlier this year, Lil Tjay went on record claiming that Offset owed him money, a gambling debt. This man said publicly that Offset was not paying up what he was owed, and he was not quiet about it either. Lil Tjay was on the internet talking reckless. He called himself 23 at the time, and was basically saying he doesn't care who you are, pay what you owe. He even took shots at the Migos legacy, referencing Bad and Bougie like it was nothing. And then, supposed messages started leaking online between the two of them. Messages where Lil Tjay is threatening to smack Offset, and messages where Offset is firing back, telling him he's got the wrong one. The energy was already toxic before any of this casino night happened. So when you hear that these two ended up in the same valet lane outside the Hard Rock and a fight broke out, it does not feel like a coincidence. It feels like the end of a chapter that had been building for months. Now Lil Tjay's legal team moved fast. His attorney Dawn Florio put out a statement basically trying to draw a clear line in the sand. She said Lil Tjay was not shot, and this is the key part, that he was not charged with any shooting. The charge is disorderly conduct, which relates to the fight, not the gunfire. She called the reports connecting him directly to the shooting false rumors and urged people to check their sources before repeating stuff. And look, that is a fair legal argument. Disorderly conduct and firing a weapon are two very different things in the eyes of the law. Lil Tjay paid a $500 bond and was out by Tuesday afternoon. $500. That is not a lot of money for someone in the rap game. And the police confirmed that a second person was detained at the scene, but not charged, meaning they are still out here looking for answers about what actually happened in that valet lane. So the question remains open. Lil Tjay was there, Offset got shot, and somebody pulled a trigger. That somebody, at least according to law enforcement right now, has not fully been identified or charged with the shooting itself. Make that make sense. And then there is Cardi B. Because you cannot tell this story without talking about what this woman must be going through right now. Cardi and Offset have one of the most public, most complicated relationships in the entire music industry. They got secretly married back in 2017. They have 3 kids together. There have been cheating scandals, breakups, makeups, and in 2024, Cardi filed for divorce. By most accounts, that divorce got finalized. These two are done, officially. But here's the thing nobody wants to say out loud. There is no version of this where Cardi just doesn't feel anything. That man is the father of her children. Whatever went wrong between them personally, whatever happened behind closed doors, he is still woven into her life. And now she is waking up to news that he got shot outside a casino in Florida and is lying in a hospital bed. That hits differently when you share kids with someone. Reports confirm that Offset has 6 children in total, including 2 daughters and a son with Cardi. Those kids have 2 parents, and right now, one of those parents is in a hospital being monitored. No matter how you feel about the relationship drama, that is real life. That is heavy. And there is one more layer to this whole thing that I do not think enough people are talking about. Because this is not the first time the Migos family has been touched by gun violence. Not even close. In November 2022, Takeoff, Offset's cousin, 1/3 of Migos, was shot and killed outside a bowling alley in Houston. He was 28 years old, just gone. And the trial for the man indicted for that murder is not even scheduled until November of this year. The wound from Takeoff is still fresh. And now here we are, with Offset in another hospital, connected to another shooting, and the whole thing feels surreal. There are people in Offset's circle who have been through this grief before, who know what it looks like when things go too far. And right now, everyone is just waiting to hear more updates on his condition, waiting to see if more charges come, waiting to find out who else was in that valet lane. Okay, so let's actually go back even further, because the root of all of this, the absolute seed of everything that exploded in that valet lane on Monday night, comes down to $10,000. That's it, 10 grand. Back in January 2025, Lil Tjay hopped on a Twitch live stream and just went in. He said he dissed Offset because Offset is broke. His actual claim was that he saw Offset inside a casino panicking, running around asking people for cash apps. And then he dropped the bombshell. He said he personally lent Offset $10,000, and that Offset ducked him for so long he couldn't get a single dollar back. Now let that sink in for a second. We are not talking about $1 million dispute. We are not talking about some complex record deal gone sideways. The beef that eventually exploded outside a Florida casino started over $10,000 from a gambling session. That is wild to me. And Lil Tjay was not subtle about it either. He literally referenced Bad and Bougie, one of the biggest Migos records ever made, basically saying you made Raindrop Drop Top and you cannot pay me back my 10 racks? That is a calculated dig. That is not just talking money. That is going after someone's legacy, their whole identity, everything they spent years building. That is personal. Then, in March 2025, Tjay goes back on Instagram calling Offset broke again. And this time, Offset actually shows up in the comments. He challenges Lil Tjay to a live stream fight and tells him he will fly out to him personally. The fight never happened, but the energy never went away either. It just went quiet, both of them sitting on it, letting it simmer. And then somehow, some way, both of them end up at the exact same casino on the exact same Monday night in April 2026. And whatever had been building for over a year, it finally had nowhere left to go. $10,000. Remember that number, because that might genuinely be the figure that put Offset in a hospital bed. So here is where we stand. Offset is stable and being closely monitored at Memorial Regional Hospital. Lil Tjay is out on bond, his legal team denying any involvement in the shooting itself. Police are still actively investigating and looking for additional suspects. And Cardi B, whatever she is feeling right now, is doing it privately, away from all of this noise. This story is not done yet, not even close. Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to know what you think really went down in that valet lane. Anyway, this concludes today's video. Be sure to subscribe to LoafTube for future celebrity videos, and turn on that post notification bell so you don't miss out on any future uploads. Until then, see you in the next one.